Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever, where today we're going to be looking at a 4v4 played on the Neuroxus map generator. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you are ever so amazing and beautiful to press those buttons. Let's get into introducing our players. We're going to start in the top right with the orange Cybran by the name of Mazenoob going first land. Then we have his first first ally, Loxpoig, the Gray Aeon, going first land. Then we move on to the yellow UEF by the name of Berghane 777. Or no, it's just 2 sevens, whatever. Berghane. Then we have ourselves Mally Libby, the Green Aeon, going first land. And that's all of the players for Team 1. Let's move on to Team 2. Starting in the back yet again, we're going to go with the red UEF by the name of Lieutenant General Fluffy. Then we have his first alloy, apparently, the purple Cybran by the name of Fong. Then over to the east, we have the teal Cyan, or it's a Cyan Seraphim. Why am I saying teal? The Cyan Seraphim by the name of Thurnis Haley. And then last but not least for the entire game, already moving out, is the blue UEF by the name of Dave 88. And he's gone first land. So, the map. Let's look what the map gen's given us today. Very little reclaim and a lot of mass extractors to be gained. 10 by 10 kilometer map, so it's a decent sized map. The players spawn very close to each other, and there's a lot of room to expand. They're going to have to figure out who gets which mass extractors, and we'll see exactly how it goes. Mazenoob claiming he will focus on air. As far as the ratings go in this game, and the balance is 84% balanced with a huge rating disparity between these players. We have from 900 to 1700 rating. Mazenoob being the highest rated player, whereas Mally Libby has managed to be the lowest rated player in the game with 900, not even breaking the 4-digit mark on this. But we'll have to see if he performs over or under expectation with a rating like that. And of course, everybody here is welcome at Willowcast. We do not care about your rating, we just care about good games for the fans. So, we have a scout already coming out from the likes of Mazenoob, going to be trying to scout out exactly where the enemy comms are going. He's going to go ahead and fall back a little bit, and yeah, there's some wrecks here in the middle, some relatively valuable wrecks. I don't think you can get an engineer down there, so you will have to drop, and that's why we saw a ping about dropping onto the wrecks out from Team 1. A bit of harassment tried to go down, but didn't really achieve too terribly much. Looks like it was just shut down by the likes of Loxpoig with an Aurora. And here we are. Players are expanding in various general areas. Going out to east is both Lieutenant General Fluffy and Thurnis Haley, and then on the other side we have Fong and Dave moving up north. And on the other side of the map, it's kind of the same, except for we have a little bit different partition in how players are expanding, and it looks like our player Bergen is currently expanding the heaviest. He has a lot of the mexes nearby the base of him and Mazenoob. Mazenoob's comm going out far west, going to try and, I guess, grab himself his own mexes and get himself some economy under his belt. The team 2 has come down here, and they are expanding a little bit more lockstep. They're kind of created a little bit of a line, and they're like, well, this line is, above this line is up to Thurnis Haley, and below it is Lieutenant General Fluffy. These two players, of course, playing together quite a little bit. I do know Lieutenant General Fluffy and Thurnis Haley generally end up in the same game, if not the same team. And Mazenoob is moving way far out with the comm. That is going to be a little bit risky. He is focusing on air, as he mentioned a little bit earlier, and he just doesn't have as many mexes as you'd expect out of a 1700 rated player. And we have damage and range now on the way for Dave. He's going to be the first player to get an upgrade from the looks of it. But we also have speed. And actually, I'm lying. Loxboy goes for the first upgrade. He has speed on the way. Range already finished up. And he is, of course, rocking that Aeon Comm. Could we possibly, for another game, see Chrono Dampener, the best upgrade in the game? And I'm so happy to see more people using it. I know a lot of people in my fan base have started to use it more heavily, and I think it's one of the best upgrades in the game. Let's use it so much it gets nerfed. You know what? If it gets nerfed, I will be actually quite cross, because everybody already is like shitting on the Aeon, saying they're horrible and they're the worst faction. If we get a nerf, we did not deserve it, alright? Over here we have ourselves Scorchers dropping bombs onto some Aeon units. Of course, the Aeon units most at risk due to bombing. The Aurora, having the lowest health of any of the main battle tanks, means that it does take a very little amount of damage from the bomber. So this bomber getting tons of value, up to 7 kills already. A bit of a fight going on between the likes of Bergen and Dave. Dave having the gun upgrade means Bergen's going to be dropped down quite low, but Bergen has a bunch of reinforcements coming in. They will pile in damage quite quickly into this comm, so this could be dangerous for the likes of Dave, but it also could be dangerous for Bergen, who can't really fire back whenever with the range disadvantage. So he's just kind of taking free damage at the moment, and Bergen falling down to 2,500 HP and falling. That's going to be absolutely terrible for him. He's down into the red, down almost to 1,000 HP. It's just a few more shots. Oh my god, one more shot and he's dead, and he's dead! The first player here ejected at the 6-minute mark, a very early ejection. Dave managing to secure that kill quite easily for himself, and of course I do want to point out full share is on, so this base is now going to be transferred over to the likes of Loxboy, who has finished Chrono Dampener, so we already have Chrono Dampener on the field. He's going to start moving his comm out to the west, try and combat this push, because now Dave and Fong are going to start laying into the likes of Loxboy and most likely Mazer Noob. Mazer Noob's comm kind of stuck out here in the middle of nowhere, but I don't think they know where it is. There is a scout now coming out. It may see the comm of Mazer Noob, and that would put him at danger with so many units around him. Needs to start falling back to the base and try and recuperate. With the loss of Bergen, it's going to make things a lot more difficult, but Loxboy now managing to make his way out. We have T2 Air already finished up, so Mazer Noob going to be coming out with the Renegade gunships. We don't have any T2 Air coming out from Team 2, so this will be the situation we're in. Loxboy coming up with that upgraded gun comm. He's going to be able to stun all of the units here, so it looks like we might be seeing Dave get ejected next. Dave kind of overstepping his bounds. He was low on health when he started pushing up, and now his units are of no help to him. Maybe he can get some units in range to shift G and stop them from kind of running him over. We have speed now on the way from Mally Libby, and that might be useful, but Loxboy still pushing forward with the comm, and the likes of Dave is about to go down. He's about to die, and he's dead. And we've had 2 ejections before the 10-minute mark. 1 player on each team taken down, and that's going to be unfortunate for the likes of both teams. But right now looks like Team 2 is getting the better of it. They didn't really lose any territory, and they just basically handed over Lieutenant General Fluffy a very strong economy. We now have Loxboy still trying to use this Chrono to help out. The Renegades out from Mazer Noob now being used in a defensive manner, and Mazer Noob seemingly gets his comm back out of the danger zone. So these players just need to continue to expand and continue to build up, and they may be able to contest Team 2, but Team 2 now having a large push down in this southern side is going to be able to manage to possibly cancel the speed upgrade on the comm of Mally Libby. And Mally Libby definitely needs to be careful here. He is under threat. We could see some of those Renegades from earlier that we saw helping out Mazer Noob's base come out and try and protect him to a degree, but now Mally Libby under tons of fire and very possibly just going to go down. Yeah, another volley of artillery comes in and he goes down, not able to finish that speed upgrade. Does kill off all of the army of both Lieutenant General and Thurnis Haley, which is the only saving grace his death has brought for his team. And now it's Mazer Noob and Loxboy against the world. Loxboy, of course, doing quite well with that Chrono upgrade, up to 1 veterancy and 18 kills. Now starting to push out against the likes of Fong's spam. Fong was gifted over the entire base of Dave, so that should help him out with the production war over on this western flank. On the eastern flank, Thurnis Haley and Lieutenant General Fluffy should be able to get some damage done and get some pressure in towards their opponents. Renegade's getting caught out by interceptors. They kind of just flew into a bunch of interceptors. This is a very bad situation for Mazer Noob. Mazer Noob, he needs to focus on getting his units. Yeah, that was just so horrible. He lost Renegades for no reason. He probably had more interceptors in all honesty, but now he's kind of just in a tough spot. He has a bunch of air factories now, all producing interceptors or Renegades. And now Mazer Noob's comm about to be assaulted by a ton of mishmashed units out from Fong. Of course, having those UEF production facilities, he's going to have a lot of units over here. And now Mazer Noob is possibly under threat. His comm is not able to deal with all this. He needs to get some help. Where is the comm of Loxboig? Loxboig's comm is up here to the northwest. It should start moving this way. We have Renegades coming out to try and help Mazer Noob's comm. He's trying to save himself, but his comm can't move. Does he have overcharge? I'm not quite sure. He does not have access to overcharge. That's going to make this a little bit more complicated. He's falling down on health very quickly. All of these units pouring damage into him is not good for that health bar. He's down to 2,000 health, dropping into the red. He's going down below 2,000. He's now down to about 1,000 HP, and there's still tons of units pouring into him. He's about to die, and that's going to be our next death in just over 10 minutes. We've had most of the players ejected, and now it's Loxboig versus the world. It's Loxboig versus both Lieutenant General Fluffy, Thurnis Haley, and Fong. Loxboig gonna have to get this Chronocom out here to do quite a little bit if he wants to have a hope of surviving this. He does have T2 UEF tech, so that is gonna help him out a little bit, as he has some pillars floating around, whereas Fong is just coming out with a speed and range comm. Of course, Chrono on the comm of Loxboig, gonna make it a little bit more difficult for Fong to engage here, but Loxboig's comm can't be everywhere at once, and on the southern side, Thurnis Haley and Lieutenant General Fluffy are starting to push forward. And now we do have some units starting to be produced out of all these production facilities, but I don't know if Loxboig can afford it. I'm sure he's not in a mass stall. He's actually might even be having trouble spending his mass. I don't know why he's falling back with a comm. I think you have to be aggressive with a comm. You can't be worried about a snipe. You just have to go for it. You're not going to outproduce all of your opponents who have 90% map control. Just look at the map right here. It's all Team 2. He has to start taking out enemy players, and he has to start really pushing in and getting snipes of his own onto Fong would be probably the best idea, because that just means that this entire area now has to be managed by somebody else. Fong now taking a lot of damage onto the comm. He's starting to fall below 6,000 HP, and it's going to continue to drop as long as he does not get something up here to try and support him. He has a lot of units in the area, but they're kind of just not protecting the comm. Comm down to 2,000 HP and falling. He's going to be in a lot of trouble. He stops moving, and that's just going to be Fong dying. A lot of players dying just by the fact that they don't have a lot of units around them. They just kind of, their comms are very isolated. A lot of run-bys now happening down here in the southern side of Loxboig's base. Loxboig has evened it up to a 2v1, and this Chrono upgrade just paying dividends over for Loxboig. He's going to be in a difficult situation still, but he still has a strong economy and a strong base setup. He has a decent amount of mass per second, but nothing compared to Lieutenant General Fluffy at 129 mass a second, 51 for Thurnis Haley, and only 94 for Loxboig. He's in a bad position. He's going to have trouble right now. The rest of your team. Chrono, so good. Is so good. It's such a good upgrade. Get Chrono. If you're playing Aeon and you don't get Chrono, you're kind of trolling, unless you're like, unless it's like a 20 by 20 kilometer and you're really far away from the enemy and you're not going to use your comm. But still, Chrono good. So we'll have to see how Loxboig plans to approach this. He's going to be in a lot of trouble. He's currently kind of been partially obliterated by the likes of Lieutenant General and Thurnis Haley. This southern side just does not look good. He now has some units over here on the northwestern side who are annexing this area. Going to be trying to get some mass extractors built up there, I'm sure. But he has to fight on all fronts at once. This is just not an easy position to be in. Loxboig probably should just continue using his comm quite aggressively. I mean, we could see some T2 air or something come out, but honestly, you kind of just have to go balls to the wall with your comm at this point. You're in a bad position. You're going to be in a bad position until you take away some of this map control, and your comm is probably the strongest way to gain that map control. If you die for it, well, newsflash, if you sit in your base, you're going to die. Thurnis Haley and Lieutenant General Fluffy both using their comms up here on the front. They have T2 on, I believe, both comms. Nope, just on the comm of Thurnis Haley. They're starting to build fire bases, and they're starting to build production facilities up here on the front lines, and that could spell disaster for Lockspoik. He does have a decent army here, but it's a lot to manage, and there's a lot to micro at any given time. Lockspoik's comm now building a factory. Over here on this side, Lieutenant General Fluffy and Thurnis Haley still biding their time, not quite deciding to push out yet. We have Elshevas and Pillars now in the mix, but we also have T2 Army out from Lockspoik. Lockspoik will have the T2 Army that will hopefully help him out quite a little bit. We have Hoplites over here about to be going down to the likes of Pillars and other units. We have a bit of an air engagement going on. A lot of Jesters out on the field. Jesters, not necessarily the best play. They're pretty easy to deal with, completely honestly. Like, you can deal with them with even T1 anti-air pretty effectively. Over here on this southern side, we have a push now out from Thurnis Haley and Lieutenant General Fluffy. I think if they get their comms involved, that this is just kind of a win for the likes of the Seraphim and UEF player down here on the south. But they haven't decided to. A lot of Aurora still existing. Aurora pouring in a lot of damage. As long as something can stand in front of them, they will do very well in these trades against T2 units. They still can deal with T2 units as long as they don't have to take the hits themselves. A bunch of Jesters now attacking Lockspoik. Lockspoik just going to shut that down with his interceptor count. He has a lot of air at the moment, but there's a lot of air factories now in the hands of Lieutenant General Fluffy, and I don't know if Lockspoik can keep up. Maybe if he starts going for some kind of T3 air swap, but that would be very difficult to pull off at the moment. We have a PD creep now coming out from Thurnis Haley, and Lockspoik is slowly losing ground against the tide, the wall of units coming out from Thurnis Haley. He has so many units over here, and we can see that Lieutenant General Fluffy is focusing his efforts up here in the north central area. He has a bunch of Mongoose now pushing in. The Mongoose, they're going to die here as they are walking right into the likes of Pillars and even Auroras, which can deal with them if they get into range. So the Mongoose are going to die, but it's going to take precious time and micro that Lockspoik doesn't have. Lockspoik in a very difficult position. Overall in reclaim, not that it's been too significant this game, 15,000 to 12,000, so Team 2 even ahead in reclaim. As far as the economies go, it looks like Lockspoik has about half the economy of his opponents, which is unfortunate. He's about as strong as just Lieutenant General Fluffy by himself, so it's going to be difficult with Thurnis Haley adding so much more to these pushes, and now we have units just kind of getting into the back line. It looks like Lockspoik might be crumbling here. The chrono was good, but it wasn't quite enough to make up for his team kind of just falling apart. And this is kind of looking doomed for Lockspoik. It's going to take him a while to die. Chrono makes it very difficult to die to just normal units. Like you can see, there's a ton of units here, and they're taking forever to kill him. Whereas normally this wouldn't be the case. We have a ton of Jesters now coming out, air able to deal with it. Thurnis Haley was Corsair sniped. I wasn't even looking over here. I was more focusing on the Jester snipe attempt on Lockspoik. Now it's just Lieutenant General Fluffy versus Lockspoik, but Lockspoik in a tough position now as so many units kind of just start collapsing onto his position. And Lockspoik, while he can continue to stun up the T2 units attacking him, these Jesters are kind of just unanswered. We have Corsairs now coming in to try and kill off the Jesters, which Corsairs can very well kill off air units. But it's just starting to feel like too little too late. And is Lockspoik going to die to Jesters? He's got a lot of health still. He's up to 5 vet, so his health bar being yellow, don't let that fool you. It's still 6,000 HP. I don't think the Jesters have a threat of killing him immediately, but it's going to be a difficult situation. More Jesters now coming in to attack the comm, but over here, his base is just falling apart. He's going to have nothing left even if he survives all the Jesters, but no, the Jesters are going to be enough. He's going to be going down. He's down to 2,000 HP and falling. He may kill off the Jesters, but there's Mongoose that are able to fire into him, and that's still a decent amount of damage. Mongoose still do a lot of damage, and Oh, he's going to be able to walk away very possibly with just under 2,000 HP, but is that enough? I don't think so. He's not going to be getting any more vet. He's just got the 40 HP a second, which is significant, but not quite enough. And Lockspoig is just surrounded. His house is on fire, but he's saying, this is fine. I have Chrono. Don't worry, guys. I got this. But, oh my word, Lockspoig just fighting a one-man army. Chrono versus the world. Oh my word. This beautiful Aeon technology. And it's going to go to waste as units come in. He has a friendly Mantis show up. I'm sure that will make him feel better. But in the end, his base is destroyed. He just doesn't have the production. I'm sure he has mass per second, but he's going to have trouble spending it.
Commander under attack.
And as the units collapse in, it'll take them a while. As I said, land units kind of just don't kill Chrono Comms very well. But the air bombing raid may just do it, and that's the end of the game. Thank you all for watching. I know it was a short cast today, but like, subscribe. I'll try and get back to you with more casts. Just don't have as much time IRL as I thought I might. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!